Wolf, great to see you again, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Awesome. Congratulations on the new album. Um, Dude, you're working your ass off right now. You're going to be here in Texas this weekend. You're going to be playing along with on the Metallica show. You're playing Friday night. And how many shows are you in on the big stage now with Metallica?
We have done, I feel like 7 or 8 with them, like 5 or 6 in Europe, and then we've done 2. I can't. Everything's sort of
Yeah,
blending.
I understand. Is Does it take some time to get your bearings on a stage that size? I mean, you're the singer, guitar player. I can only imagine you got effects all over the place. I mean,
Around,
how much movement around are you doing on that huge stage?
I really don't have the opportunity because by the time I get like down to the drums, I need to run back to the mic to sing. Like
Yeah.
the music, at least vocally, is not conducive to running around a giant stage because by the time I don't think there's 20 seconds go by without there being some singing at some point. But yeah, no, it's tough. Luckily, my guitar player and my bass player can kind of get a couple laps in while I'm stuck operating my pedal board and singing.
But do you have use of the entire stage of Metallica stage?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a very crazy stage.
And you're playing with Pantera. What can you tell me? I mean, I've heard all really, really good things. Have you been on the wings for their set?
Yeah, no, they sound amazing, and the material sounds great. It's a crazy show to be a part of.
And just real quick, I can't think of Pantera without thinking of your dad going to Dime's funeral and putting that Van Halen 2 guitar um, in his I guess it was that Kiss coffin, but I think he said like an original deserves an original. Now, I'm sure your dad knew like that, he was worshipped by those guys in Pantera. Was your dad a Pantera fan?
Yeah, I mean, I remember he had met Dime and said that he was a wonderful dude. So
You are out there and you're promoting Mammoth 2. Great album. Your vocals, you're attacking these vocals, dude. And I don't know. I mean, obviously you've been singing a long, long time, but I feel like your voice is so much stronger. Two things. I feel like your vocals are so much stronger and you're really attacking the vocals. And dude, you are soloing the shit out of this album. You didn't do that much on the first one. Not as much, anyways.
yeah, no, I think maybe I just came into this process with a bit more confidence after establishing the first album that I think the pressure was kind of off and I was able to have a bit more fun maybe.
But you're soloing more. So, I mean, anyway, like the confidence, I think that's a perfect way to kind of summarize it. I mean, that first album, were all of these songs written after the first album? Is any of this stuff leftovers from album number one?
I know Erase Me was an idea around that time that just kind of didn't work out. I was like, "Ah, I'll figure that one out later." But yeah, it's all stuff after the first album.
And again, you're recording all of the stuff, you're doing all the parts yourself.
Yep.
Do you think that that is going to be, I mean, obviously you can change your mind on anything that you want, but do you like that? Do you think that'll be your model moving forward? Or can you flip a switch and say, okay, guys, join me in the studio and let's do this?
Yeah, who knows? I think if I ever get sick of it, but I don't know if I will. I think from the beginning, from the project's inception, this has been, my sort of creative, artistic expression. It's been mine and my thing alone from the beginning. That it's just made sense to keep doing it that way, and it's a lot of fun to be able to, to take every moment and every bit of the process to create it. But I'm sure maybe if ask me album 6, maybe I won't feel the same way.
Right. Who is who is your guy? I mean, when you're in a band, bass player is going to keep the drummer in check. The singer is going to tell the guitar player, okay, easy on that solo. And then the guitar player is going to yell at the singer saying, hey, dude, you're not doing this right. Like, who is your sounding board when you're doing everything? Um, is it the producer of the album? Is there somebody that you bring in to, like that you use as, as your main sounding board?
It will first, I am my toughest critic. So if I get past myself, that's a plus. But then also I have my producer, Elvis Basquet, who's basically the other half of the band in the studio. He is that person that that people think I don't have when I record everything myself.
And you guys are on a relationship where, you know, you're not going to get butthurt when he says, "Hey, man, you need to pull back on this." I mean, does he have the freedom and
Yeah, exactly.
he's comfortable enough with you to say, "Hey, bro, you know, less cowbell here" or something?
Yeah, I think there's some people you work with where they try to change stuff because they want to say they changed it. Like, oh, that's what I did. That's my part. But working with Elvis is a really great process because it's about what's best for the song first and foremost. And so he's always a joy to work with.
So when it comes to taking the band out on the road, is this the same band that you used off of album number one, or have you had to like kind of work some different people in?
Oh, they are the live band, and I hope they will be forever. They're the best.
Tell me about the live shows because Metallica. I mean, Metallica. You know, we're talking about one of the biggest bands in the world. They're playing, you know, particular weekends, and you know, they're only playing in Dallas. So we're in Houston, so they just kind of pick Dallas. So like, if you live in Texas, you come see us here, and they're playing, you know, limited shows. And you've got a band like Pantera who'll be here Thursday night. So they're kind of picking up these gigs in between.
Yeah.
Are you doing stuff with Alter Bridge? Are you kind of like following the Metallica route and picking up shows in between?
Pretty much. Yeah. I think for a band of our nature, we're a very fresh new band. We can't really afford to fly in to do a show and fly out. So it's like it's this thing where it's we luckily have this awesome tour that we're a part of with Alter Bridge on their Pawns and Kings tour, where we can kind of tour around together and hop off the tour to quickly go for opening for Metallica for a sec, and then come back, and then we have some of our own shows, and then we have our own headliners and stuff at the end of the year. So pretty cool.
Yeah, you're going to be back here in Houston, I think, in November with Nita Strauss. So, I mean, clubs, arenas, stadiums. There's nothing that you're not doing right now, and that's a pretty unique thing. I mean, I know you've got stadium and you've got big arena pedigree with what you did with Van Halen, but right now with your band and being on your second album, there's not a stage that you're not on right now.
We are all over the place right now for sure.
Awesome. Are you traveling on a bus?
Yeah, always.
Buses or singular bus?
A bus with 13 dudes on it.
Come on. Hang on a second. One bus for all of Mammoth WVH. That's the crew and the band.
Yeah, that's how it's always been. It's work.
At its peak, when you were in Van Halen, how many buses do you think?
There were maybe six buses, six
I
or
mean,
seven.
that's living large, right? Six buses. I mean, that's as top tier as it gets.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, well, as top tier as it gets, there probably aren't any buses, and it's all jets and stuff.
Well, Metallica, then flying in and then going home for a couple of days and then flying out to another show. I guess that's as top tier as it gets now.
I appreciate the separation though. Like when it's like I don't know if I would like flying in and flying out. Like I like that when I'm out here, like it's the mindset. Like I'm playing and that's it. Like if I went home after every gig, it would feel weird.
You feel like you would get out of your groove a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like when I'm out here, it's that other half. Now it's game time. As opposed to being home, and that's the other side of that coin. At least that's
But
what
that's a lot of dudes on a bus, bro. I don't have to tell you that.
luckily they are.
Back to Mammoth 2, your second album. This was recorded at 5150, right? So without getting like too nerdy with the audience about equipment and stuff, but stuff's got to get out of date. And I mean, is this Van Halen dad stuff, or do you got to go in and kind of put a bunch of new stuff in there to kind of keep up with what you want to do on your albums?
Yeah, really, the bulk of it was is my prototype SA-126 through my 50 watt 5153 that I played. It was the same amp that I used for the Taylor Hawkins tribute shows. And there's just something special about that one that sounded so good that that's really the bulk of the album.
Bro, you were shredding at that thing. It was unbelievable. We all had tears in our eyes. It was unbelievable. Is that I heard, did you meet? Is that when you met Lars?
Yeah, yeah,
You
that's
never knew him before that?
I mean I'd known of him obviously, but I'd
Sure.
never actually met him until then.
And then is that where dialogue starts with, hey, we're launching this huge tour. Would you like to open? I mean, did it start right there, or is it a couple
After,
of phone calls after that?
after talking to their manager, he had told me that it was because we met at at the Taylor Hawkins tribute that Lars was that he started thinking. He's like, man, that'd be pretty cool having Wolf open for us. What do you think? And they kind of deliberated on it, and luckily they thought it was worth a shot, and they gave us the opportunity, which is a crazy huge honor.
What can you take away from working with the guys in this short period of time with Metallica? Maybe different from your time. Maybe even going back to Van Halen. What have you picked up? What kind of a pro tip have you got? How does Metallica do it differently that you said, hey, I'd like to do that moving forward?
There's nothing ever anything specific. But actually in the case of Metallica, there is they're very welcoming and very kind to openers. Like they do these dinners after some shows where they just kind of invite everybody to hang out and just it's like one big touring family, and you just kind of hang out, talk, and have dinner, and it's really really crazy. They're very 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 kind.
It's crazy how they take care of their fans and how they are on such a high level that they seem like they haven't forgotten like where they've come from. And that seems to be a pretty common story. Even my minimal interaction with them, it's just, wow, he didn't have to do that, or they didn't have to be here. And yet they do those things. And Metallica still, does cool, neat things that on a band on that level, they wouldn't really have to.
Yeah, it's very cool. I've found over my time in the business that the heavier the music, the kinder the people involved.
Bro, you're in the Barbie movie. Well, your music's in the Barbie movie. You got to tell me, because that just seems out of nowhere. Obviously, with Slash and you on that Ken track, but you have stuff that's elsewhere, like embedded within the movie. How does that come about?
The Taylor Show again. That's where
Come on.
I met Mark Ronson, and we hit it off. And he hit me up just out of the blue saying, hey man, I'm working on the Barbie movie. I could really use your guitar playing. He's like, can you come out? And so after the first Metallica show in Amsterdam, instead of going home, I went to New York, and I spent the day at his studio with him and Andrew, the two guys who scored the movie. And they would play parts of the movie, be like, hey, here's what we're thinking. Let's do this. And then I just sit there, play, and do it. And there was like 10 different moments throughout the film where it was like either like some textural sort of strumming affected stuff, and then there's in the movie version of the I'm Just Ken song, there's this solo at the beginning, uh, this like beach fight. It's really funny and surreal and crazy. But I have this like tapping solo thing that I do at the start of it. That's it was pretty crazy to see after seeing it in the movie. It's
Are you also doing the piano on it, or just the guitar?
guitar.
Okay. And you did red carpet for the movie. I mean, it's the biggest movie in the world, and it's been the biggest movie in the world. Did they tell you it was going to be huge, and that led you like, hey, okay, I want to be attached to this? I mean,
Not at all.
when
I
I
just
when I heard about the Barbie movie, I thought, man, this really could be like a goof, you know?
everything I had seen from it, it seemed just crazy. And after seeing parts of it, and Mark explaining the stuff to me, it seemed really fun. And just to have the opportunity to be a part of was crazy.
And are the scenes on the screen when you're in the studio, and then they're kind of explaining to you what the mood is and where they're going with it?
Exactly. I'd never done anything like that before. It was a really fun thing to do.
You liked it, that you'd be open to doing more.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Um, what about the videos, dude? Your videos are really great. They're really great, and they're funny, which leads me to believe that I mean, some people it's a necessary evil. I'm led to believe that you kind of enjoy it because you're a natural in these videos. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I think the last one I maybe bit off a little bit more than I could chew. Parts I'd be playing when I was thinking of that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think it's important to not take yourself too seriously. And we have a good time doing it.
Did you write your mom into it? This is I'm all right. Did you write your mom into it, or was she just on the set? It's like, hey, mom, get behind there and be the ticket. Be the person that's signing the bands in.
I had asked her the day before. I thought it'd be really fun if she was the board ticket lady.
She gets 1 day leeway before she's in your video.
Yeah.
Well, as supportive as she seems, I imagine that wasn't, I imagine she was like, I thought you'd never ask. I see her support of you online and stuff, and it's really, really great. She, in the shows that I've seen her at, she just watching you, and she's absolutely beaming. So that's got to be a great feeling. Has she come out to any of the Metallica shows yet?
Oh yeah, she's been to a bunch of them. She's the most supportive mother.
That's awesome. That's so great. All right. Well, listen, Friday you're with Pantera, and then you're here in November, and we are giving away tickets. It's you and Nita Strauss, and
That's gonna be
album
awesome.
number 2 is out. You're working your ass off. This new album is great, and dude, your guitar work. I don't know. I feel like you've always said that, like you're like this drummer at heart. I don't think anymore. I don't think so, dude. Not on this, not after this album. And after what we saw you do at the Taylor stuff, I'm like, no, this guy, this is guitar guy. And I'm so glad that you're soloing the way that you are on this album. Man, it's awesome. It just puts a smile on our faces.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Wolfgang, thank you so much, man. I look forward to seeing you when you're in town in November here in Houston, okay?
Likewise, man. Thanks so much. You take
All
care.
right, take care.